please take their seats. Ji sir, I started. Sure, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Gujarat Energy Transmission Corporation Limited, I extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished dignitaries, eminent speakers, industry leaders, academicians, delegates, and participants who have joined us today for this important conference on TBCB framework for renewable energy-rich power system, balancing cost, reliability, and investment in the energy transition era. It is indeed a privilege to witness the presence of such a distinguished gathering representing transmission utilities, policy makers, industry experts, and knowledge partners. The energy sector today is undergoing a remarkable transformation as renewable energy continues to grow, ensuring a balance between affordability, reliability, and sustainable investment has become one of the most significant priorities for the power sector. Today's deliberations will provide valuable insights and foster a meaningful exchange of ideas towards building a resilient and future-ready power system. Befin- Before we begin formally, we would like to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers. As a mark of our welcome and sincere appreciation, we are pleased to present a book instead of a traditional flower bouquet. This thoughtful gesture reflects the spirit of Vibrant Gujarat initiative, where knowledge and innovation are valued above all. May I now request and invite Shri R.J. Nagaria Sir, Chief Engineer MGVCL, to kindly welcome our respected moderator for the session, retired Head Transmission Torrent Power, Shri L.N. Mishra Sir, with the book. Sir is an alumnus of IIT BHU and MBA from IIT Delhi. Sir has over 40 years of experience in the power sector. A pioneer in TBCB, he has played a significant role in shaping and implementing several landmark projects in India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I again request Nagaria, sir, to welcome Shri Animesh Jaiswal, Vice President of Business Development, Sterlite Technology. Sir has been actively involved in planning and execution of transmission projects. I again request Nagaria, sir, to welcome Shri Manoj Kumar Singh, Chief General Manager, Power Grid. Sir has successfully led planning, engineering and execution of several landmark EHV and HVDC transmission projects across India. I now request Shri A.B. Rathore, sir, Chief Engineer STU, to welcome Shri Neeraj Singh, Chief General Manager, PFC Consulting Limited. With over 3 decades of experience, sir has been instrumental in developing and implementing major interstate projects supporting India's energy transition. I again request A.B. Rathore, sir, to welcome Ratnesh Kumar, General Manager, REC Distribution Company. Sir heads TBCB and Transmission and Distribution Vertical. I request A.B. Rathore, sir, to welcome Anil Sikka, Senior Consultant. Sir is respected expert in power system planning and capacity building. I request, sir, to welcome Shri Deepak Kumar, MJ Vasawa, sir, to welcome Deepak Kumar, Deputy Manager, PFC Consulting. A chartered accountant by profession, sir brings diverse experience from various organizations. I request MJ Vasawa, sir, to welcome Shri Shashank Sharma, Chief Business Development Officer, Adani Energy Solutions. Sir has extensive experience in transmission infrastructure, strategic business development, and tariff-based competitive bidding domain. We also have Rajeshwari Narendran, HOD, Executive Education Department, and Professor IIM Udaipur. However, due to health issues, Madam could not join us personally, but she has shared her message through video and which we will be shared during panel discussion. Leadership is the power to inspire, motivate, and guide people towards a common goal. With this thought, I respectfully invite Honorable Managing Director, JETCO, Shri Ajay Prakash Sir, to deliver keynote address and share his valuable thoughts with us.
Good morning, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to be addressing this illustrious gathering. I say that because all of these names are very big names in the sector. Some of them are from Government of India, some of them are from PSU, some of them are from big private players, some of them are from academia. So what we expect to, the outcome of this seminar should be, we are Gujarat, as everybody knows, JETCO is one of the largest, the most robust transmission grid in the country. We are always at the cutting edge. We are always the pioneers whenever it comes to any innovations in transmission network. And, in the state, we have a monopoly. But as the history of businesses go, a monopoly is never a good idea. So it's always better to, especially in this era when there is we are talking about energy transition. Gujarat is one of the leading states in the country where the renewable energy generation is the maximum. We are, in fact, the number one state in the country in terms of installed capacity, and the number of projects that are coming up, that have come up, is going to increase day by day. So there is a lot of stress in the system. There is a gap between the generation and transmission, and ideally the transmission system needs to lead generation, but the reverse is happening, and it's obviously because the time period in which a renewable energy project comes up, or any project for that matter, any generation comes up, and the transmission system, there is a lag, and that lag is widening. That lag is widening day by day, and that is why we need to think beyond, we need to think out of the box. And this seminar, the TBCB framework for a renewable energy rich power system in Gujarat, this is the need of the hour, because this is something that is not entirely new. Some other states have already taken some steps towards it. I believe Maharashtra, MP, UP, some states have already taken steps. Some have actually awarded work, some are in discussions. So to manage this energy transition, it is very important that we look beyond the traditional models. The traditional model is obviously the RTM model, where the state awards projects to the state utility, which is the only utility, and we work in a very safe environment in the sense that we are shielded from market pressures. Now, what TBCB would do ideally is it would bring in private investment, it would bring in capital, and whenever the markets operate, they always operate on efficiency model. It is not to say that state utility does not operate on that basis, but we are answerable to our board. But when the TBCB model kicks in, JETCO itself will be one of the bidders. So we would be more competitive, the private sector would be welcomed in, and the pace at which transmission should grow will grow then, because apart from our traditional model, which is a cost plus model, where we take into account the cost and some expected rate of return, which is say 14 to 15%. The experience of other states is that when you have these TBCB framework in place, 30 to 40% of efficiencies there, in the sense the rates come down, transmission charges come down by that amount. I don't know how much it will be in Gujarat, but we are really keen on going down that path, because that is the future. Obviously, a lot of issues are at stake, and that is why we are all sitting here, because we want to learn. And we want to learn from the experts, their views on where all it has happened, what are the challenges, the issues that are going to come. Obviously, lots of issues have to be worked out. For example, if we go for this, we also have to de-risk the developers, because as you all know, we are meeting in a time where there are lots of issues in terms of ROW. There are issues in terms of clearances, especially environmental clearances, clearances from Forest and Wildlife Department. They can impact a project. There also needs to be some basic baseline performance guarantees. So all these issues have to be worked out. So I believe after these 90 minutes, we would be much wiser, and lots of technical issues, I hope they come up. I'm new to the sector, I'm also learning, but I hope that after the panel discussion, in the question answer session, officers from JETCO will also ask a lot of questions, because once we want to go ahead with it, and in a time-bound manner. We don't want the discussions to be infinite. We are today at the end of June. I would, as MD JETCO, I would like our first few projects, at least 2 or 3 packages, to be awarded by not later than December of this year. Let's say before 31st December, I would ideally like the work to be awarded, because any more delays and we will lag behind critically. Almost every day we are facing this situation that the transmission system is behind generation, which I said earlier. So I hope this seminar educates us all. We learn from the experiences of private sector as well as the leading lights in the government of India. I welcome all of you. Everybody here, including the moderator, they are they are experts in the system, and I hope that you all can set a path for Gujarat stepwise, that what needs to be done, what are the issues that we are likely to face, what are the experiences of other states as well as the government of India, and how fast or how much we can go ahead in this, and whether this is the future or is there a third model. Like internally we have been discussing a lot. Earlier there was this build, own, operate, maintain model. Now we are looking at boot model for 35 years. You also have to guide us as to what the PPC's role will be, how will the SPV be formed, how will it be transferred, and what will be the TSA, the agreement that will be signed. So I hope the issues are at the very basic nitty-gritty level rather than just general, because everybody knows TBCB has to be adopted here and will be adopted here, but exactly what are the issues which we'll face and how best we can go ahead so that by December we are able to award some projects at least, if not all, because we have internally planned about projects worth around rupees 8,000 crores, 7 or 8 packages. So I hope that we expand it, and parallelly JETCO, which does the RTM mode, and parallelly private sector as well as JETCO itself, which will bid as one of the players. So it can go ahead together so that we can have a robust, reliable transmission grid, and this issue of energy transition is resolved in such a smooth manner that we can be pioneers and we can be the model for other states to follow. Gujarat has always been a model for other states to follow. In the transmission network also, as of now, we may be the leading network, but we need to show the way to the rest of the country, and I hope that is achieved by the deliberations on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring address. May I now request and invite Shri A.B. Rathore, Chief Engineer, STU JETCO, for the brief presentation on TBCB.
Good morning to all distinguished dignitaries, representatives from Energy and Petrochemical Department, GRCs, utilities, developers, consultants, academia and industrial partners. Gujarat is entering a new era of transmission planning with rapid renewable energy integration, increasing electricity demand, green hydrogen initiative, large-scale industrial development. The transmission network has become one of the most critical enabler of the growth. Today's presentation highlights Gujarat's roadmap towards implementation of tariff-based competitive bidding. As you know, I know you are very eager to interact with our distinguished speaker, but before that, some information regarding TBCB pathway is necessary, and I will not take much time, sir. I will conclude it in 5 minutes. This slide reveals the long-term transmission vision of Gujarat. Key highlights are the peak demand, which is rising from 26 gigawatt today to over 63 gigawatt by 2047. Renewable energy integration will increase from around 32 gigawatt to 187 gigawatt. Development of multiple 765 substations will form the future transmission backbone. Long investment will be required in extra high voltage transmission, dynamic reactive compensation, battery energy storage system, digital grid technologies. This clearly indicate that future transmission expansion cannot rely only on conventional implementation methods. This slide explains why TBCB has become mandatory. The Electricity Act 2023 and National Tariff Policy encourage competition in transmission development. The latest GERC MYT regulation 2024 mandate that new transmission project of 220 kV and above and having project cost exceeding 250 crore shall normally be implemented through TBCB. The objective are straightforward: promote healthy competition, attract private investment, reduce transmission costs, improve efficiency, and ultimately protect consumer interest. Successfully implementation of TBCB depends upon institutional coordination. The state level committee primarily evaluate new transmission requirement, technical justification, project packaging, implementation timeline. The recommendations are then placed before groups. Groups is the state level committee where the project should be developed through RTM or TBCB, approved transmission expansion, recommended appointments of bid coordination. These layered government ensure transparency, technical security, faster decision making, and accountability. Who will be the key stakeholder? TBCB involve multiple stakeholders. Each reforms a well-defined role. First of all, GERC for regulatory approval, tariff adoption, and licensing. GETCO as STU planning, coordination, monitoring, interface with all stakeholders, bid process coordinators, conduct complete competitive bidding process. Transmission service provider will build, own and operate, transfer the asset under boot model. Users, who will be the user? Executing TSA, providing payment security, pay transmission charges. The government plays an enabling role though an empowered committee to resolve implementation issue. Now coming to the role of STU, although project may eventually be executed by private developers, the responsibility of transmission planning remains with STU. The STU has prepared long-term transmission plan, justify network requirement, prepare DPRs, packet transmission scheme, coordination with CEA, CTUL, SLDC and DISCOMs. The activity under TBCB plannings. This slide illustrates the activity before bidding begins. The sequence starts with planning by STU, technical approvals, groups approval, government appoint of bid process coordinator, gazette notification, preparation of bid document, formation of special purpose vehicle, RFQ, RFP and draft transmission service agreement. Each activity is linked with defined responsibility. After bid documents are finalized, RFQ is issued, eligible bidders are shortlisted, RFP issued, reverse bidding conducted, lowest tariff bidder selected. After award, the successful transmission service provider undertake detailed route survey, various statutory clearances, right of way management, tower construction, line erection, substation works, testing and commissioning. Finally, transmission service start and tariff recovery begins. Throughout this process, STU continue monitoring the project progress. Now, bid process timeline. The slide presents the indicative bidding timeline. The complete competitive bidding process is executed to be completed in nearly 3 months. Important milestone includes RFP publications, bid clarification, technical evaluation, e-reverse auction, letter of intent, TSA signing. One notable feature in the e-reverse auction is eligible bidder complete online by continuously reducing annual transmission charges. This creates market-driven tariff discovery while ensuring transparency. Now, what will be the way forward? For Gujarat, this is only the beginning. The immediate roadmap include engagement of experienced hand-holding support that we have already completed, identification of initial project packages that also we have completed, operationalization of committees that is also in place, appointment of bid process coordinator, we have PFC and REC, initiation of surveys, commencement of bidding process, award of first interstate TBCB project. The objective is not merely compliance with regulation. Our objective is to create a robust, transparent and investment-friendly transmission ecosystem capable of supporting Gujarat's ambitious renewable energy targets. With this, ladies and gentlemen, transmission infrastructure is the backbone of energy transition. As renewable generation expands rapidly, transmission planning must become more agile, competitive and investment-friendly. Tariff-based competitive bidding provides an opportunity to combine technical excellence, financial discipline, transparency, and private sector participation. While ensuring reliable and affordable electricity for consumers, GETCO remains committed to working closely with government, regulator, developer, and all stakeholders for successful implementation of this framework. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To begin with the proceedings, I now request our respected moderator to kindly initiate the discussion. Sir, I respectfully hand over the proceedings to you now.
Hello. Thank you. It's very interesting topic that has been put forward here. And I'm thankful to MD Zedco that actually he made my life simpler. Like he set the context in specific term that what is to be deliberated and what they are looking forward to at the end of this panel discussion. And simultaneously, Mr. Rathore also briefed us the way forward and how they are planning to go ahead into this particular business. So with keeping that in mind and with the time that is given to us, I think the panelists have to put forward their thought process so that at the end of the session, we are able to constructively and conclusively give certain insight for JETCO to go ahead in this process. So before I set the ball rolling, let me start with a very philosophical note that I think my perspective is this, it's like we are always playing a game of chess in life, in any field, whether it's in business, in personal life, anywhere. Because if you look at the transmission as a business, the recent phenomenon that has happened, like the Khavda blackout, that puts forward a question. What have we done? We built massive capacity in the country. Today it's more than 500 gigawatt. And I think about 250 or 230 gigawatt of renewables. We can build massive renewable parks. We can do a lot of capacity addition. But when we do this and we say that, yes, we have arrived, we have achieved, then the system throws up a challenge to us. And there is a sudden blackout. And 9,000 megawatt goes off in fraction of a second. So how it happened, why it happened? Then we start working on it. So it's like a game of chess. That's how life is interesting. Life is challenging. So similarly, that puts forward a question now, which is relevant in front of us, that transmission is supreme in a power sector. If we forget transmission, then we are into trouble. And because I have been in this sector since the formative stage of National Grid, since late 80s or early 90s. So the basic purpose with which the National Grid concept was brought forward is because of this. Capacity addition alone is not going to help. It's a transmission, which is to be stressed often, and it should be looked into first. Now, that being there, that we have to see how to build a robust transmission system. Then there was an evolution that there has to be competition. Like Mr. Rathore said, the basic objective of Electricity Act 2003 is competition. So way back in 2003, it was thought that yes, in this sector, there has to be competition. Now this TBCB framework, that came up because as per the Electricity Act, there was a mandate and there was a guidance which was put forward to the sector. So this evolved. And personally, this TBCB framework is very, very close to my heart because I can say that I threw the first pebble into a kind of serene lake called transmission, which was going in a monopolistic structure. Everything was going fine. So one day we decided, after 2003 Act, that now that the law allows transmission license to anybody, it says that any person can apply for a license. So that actually created the whole trouble in the sector. So I have been fortunate that under my signature, the first petition was put to CERC, where we asked for a license as a private party. Then this ball started rolling. So the first TBCB came up in the power sector in the form of a transmission project in 2004. So it took a lot of time, but it happened. So I am very happy that the seed which was planted in 2004, now it has grown into a tree. Today, if you look at the TBCB framework, I think more than 180 projects have been awarded in central and state sector put together, and half of it have been successfully implemented. And it has brought in more than 200,000 crores of investment in the sector, which is very, very impressive. And the cost has come down. I think the tariff, otherwise, if we have gone into RTM, it would have been about 30 to 40% higher. So if we see about a 2 lakh kind of investment, so 20% being the RTM tariff, so we have, the country has saved more or less about 12,000 to 15,000 crores worth of money in the economy. So that is a massive contribution of TBCB into this. That being there, so everything is now running smooth. Like TBCB has been experimented for last 2 decades. There are so many projects which have been implemented. So many states have come in, intrastate sector, interstate sector. Everything has jumped into this bandwagon. They are successfully doing it. So what then? What is new today? So interestingly, the topic which has been set today is very, very relevant. And more so after this Khavda blackout. So now, what is happening in the grid? I still recall in 90s when I was involved in planning 9th plan investment, 10th plan investment, and 11th plan investment. We always talk about hydrothermal mix. We used to say that at least 50% of the capacities should come from hydro, 50% should come from thermal. That was the target at that point of time. But over the period of time, there's a transition. We are telling that there is an energy transition. Now it is more renewables. Today, out of the total capacity, about 51% is renewable today. And it really throws up a challenge in front of the transmission planners. So that is the first context. How this TBCB, which have been experimented for so long, how it is going to facilitate or sustain the investment in this kind of an environment where there is a lot of renewable inputs or a lot of renewable resources which are in place. And the second topic which is relevant, that when the investment comes in, so investment alone is not important. It should bring in cost efficiency. That means it should be affordable to people because India is a developing country. So everybody is very hard-pressed for money. So the first is cost competitiveness. Then second is reliability. When we talk about transmission, reliability is the first thing which has to be kept in mind. Without reliability, there is nothing in transmission. These are only wires and steel and aluminum. There's nothing. So the reliability is the most important thing in transmission. Then third, but not the least, for which we have TBCB, is to attract investment. So we have to attract investment for building a reliability infrastructure, for a reliable infrastructure, and with cost competitiveness. So this is the objective. And one boundary condition is when we have lot of energy mix which is from renewable source. Now, there is one thing which I would like to highlight, which could have gone into the topic, is today the challenge is not about the source of power. It is very, very important to understand that today the load or the consumption pattern, what are the various loads which are going to be served in the country. On one side, we have renewables, but on this other side, when we look at the type of consumption, it's not simply the classical, what do you call, domestic or commercial or industrial consumption. We are talking about data centers. We are talking about chip manufacturing. So I still recall when I was working in Torrent Power, I think in 2022 time, there was a proposal. I was handling Dholera, the transmission system over there. So there was a proposal from Foxconn to build a chip manufacturing in Dholera. So they asked us, and Torrent being one of the best managed distribution utilities in the country, still they asked, and we used to be very proud that yes, we are providing very, very reliable power 24/7, but they put forward such a question which embarrassed us. They said that what is your profile, power profile, over microseconds? So we didn't have any answer. They said that you are very proud that you have a what do you call redundancy in the system. You are saying that every load is provided with at least two different sources of power. But what is the reliability on switchover? It says that if one feeder is out, in how many microseconds the other feeder is coming in? Microseconds? We have never thought of it. But that is the challenge today. Now from seconds, the transmission reliability today has to come down to microseconds. If we want to really actually be effective and be taking the country forward, where our Prime Minister says that we are going to have a lot of chip manufacturing here, and we are going to have a lot of data centers. Today, 1.5 gigawatt worth of data centers are here, and in next 3 to 4 years, it's going to have about 8 gigawatt kind of data centers here. So the kind of reliability that is required from the grid system is immense. So one side, there is push and pull, like the sources are very, very violent, in the sense unruly. There's a solar, there is a wind, there is something else which is coming in through innovation. But on the other side, what is happening? The demand is uninterrupted power in microseconds. So this is the challenge in which the transmission has to be planned and it has to be executed. When I say executed, we have to look at the turnaround time. What is it? Earlier, when we used to plan the execution of a transmission project for a thermal or a hydro project, I still recall in 2003, there was a hydro project which is very famous, Natha Zakri project, and that hydro project took about 12 years for implementation. So there was a lot of stranded investment in transmission in that project in power grid. Nonetheless, the hydro projects used to take about 7 to 8 years. The thermal projects used to take about 36 months to 48 months. But today, a solar project, it comes on stream in 18 months. So there is an execution challenge. So that is another problem with us, or that is another challenge in front of us, how we are going to handle it. So these are the backdrops in which now we have to reposition the TBCB framework today. So it's very, very interesting that the speakers, the panelists, there is a very, very interesting mix. On one side, we have the bid process coordinators who are baking the hot potatoes, I'll say. And on the other side, we have people like Power Grid, Sterlite, and Adani, who today own about 80% of the TBCB project, who are catching the hot potatoes. So now we have to listen how they are going to make the hot potatoes smoother for them to take over. And we would like to understand from the people who are consuming the hot potatoes how not to burn their fingers. So with this pattern of interesting discussion, we have two interesting interventions here. One is Mr. Anil Sikka, who is an industry expert, and Pooja ma'am, who is our knowledge partner, who is going to give us management knowledge about how we should reposition ourselves, whether whatever we are doing are correct, or we have to do some managerial changes or management changes in the environment. So this is a very, very interesting discussion. And for the next 60, 70 minutes, I think I'll throw open the stage to the panelists who are the practicing manager. I have been practicing it from last 3 years, and I'm out of touch. So I think our friends, they will throw more light on it. So what I do is, I think, should I hand it over to Mr. Neeraj to give you a perspective on this?
Thank you, Mr. Saab. The context was set out in a very crisp tone by the MD sir, and the chief engineer has also briefed you about the process. I'll touch upon a few things. You see, first thing that we are talking about all the planning on this side, planning on the other side. But in a general term, I would just like to state that when do we plan to buy a car? We buy a car only when we know there's a highway or there's a road. So unless there is a perception there's a highway available, I'm not going to buy a car. And I need to reach the destination. So that clog also gets removed. So that's where having this transmission system is of utmost importance. That has been happening all the while, but under the legacy process that we were planning, it was what was the generation which is going to come up, what is the load which is going to come up. It was running a tightrope. We were never thinking about keeping some extra space, some redundancies. So that's the first thing. It's out of context of the TBCB, but just a thought which comes to my mind. Now under the TBCB, Mishra Saab just mentioned about the cost efficiency. Projects, the costs have come down by even 30 to 40%. But a few things beyond that, my experience is that it is far beyond that 30 and 40%. So just food for thought, how it could be. You see, under the earlier mechanisms, there used to be cost and time overruns apart from the normal project cost. Under the TBCB mode, our experience has been that delays have been virtually negligible. A negligible delay in execution has always led to the costs being firm, no cost overrun and no time overrun. Time value also, you see, has a lot of importance. If an industry is waiting for power and is not able to start its operation just to a delay in the transmission system, it's a revenue loss, it's a loss to the nation in all terms. So that has been one more experience that we've gone through in this whole process. Cost efficiency, and now comes about the capital. In the earlier mechanism, there used to be a state or a central utility which was doing it. It had its own constraints in terms of resources. and the cost at which it could raise a resource. So every individual can play it around in a different manner. So when we had multiple competitors, they were able to rope in the pension funds and all because this is an annuity model spread over 35 years. There is an assurance. One knows right now what is going to be my return over a period of 35 years. So capital coming in with that assurance from the Indian financial institutions also. I presently am representing PFC Consulting Limited, which is a bid process coordinator. But my parent organization is Power Finance Corporation. We are into funding in the power sector in a huge manner. So looking into that, funding a project where there is an assurance becomes easier. We are able to always give a better rate. Financial institutions are always able to give a better rate, better terms and conditions where assurance is visible. And TBCB mode is the one which has all these. So going into these aspects, we have been able to get a lot of capital from the pension fund. These are long-term funds. These are low-cost funds. We have the overseas development agencies also, which have come in a big manner to support these initiatives because it is a TBCB mode. So for the moment, I'll restrict myself to this much, and maybe we can hear a little from the other side of the hot potato sir was mentioning, and the discussions would become a little more interesting after that.
Thank you, Neeraj-ji, to set the ball rolling. As you say that you are getting, basically you have two hats. One is handing over the potatoes, as well as then you are allowing also how to peel it. So about the financing. So which is a very, very interesting topic. Financing for a transmission project. That's very interesting because here what is happening that it's a 35-year concession. Okay, if I understand, 35-year concession from the commissioning of the asset. All right. So then you have about 2 years implementation period. That's what I'm telling. 35 years after the construction. So construction period is 2 years. So it's a totally 37 years in a way. Now, the interesting topic from long we have been discussing is the transmission license is for how much? It's for 25 years. So 25 years, whereas the total life of the business is about 37 years. So there is a 12 years mismatch. So just can I put forward the question to the power grid that is it not creating a mismatch in asset and liability? And is it not going to create a kind of uncertainty in front of the investors as well as the financiers?
Good morning, everybody. So I am representing Power Grid. And as all of you know, the power is the central transmission utility. From very beginning, we are in the business of constructing the interstate transmission lines. After 2003, when it was mandated that the transmission sector should be open to the private player also. In this context, since the very beginning, we are winning around 50% of all the ISTS projects. Till this year, around more than 146 ISTS project has been floated, and we are having around 50% strike rate. Similarly, for the estate sector also, we are bidding, and there also we are in the same range. What sir has told that the life of any transmission asset is around 35 years, but the transmission licenses under the boot model, under the latest model, is given for only 25 years, plus 2 years is given for the construction period. However, recently, in the most of the ISTS project, the execution period has been extended to 3 years or 30 months like that, because for constructing any interstate transmission line within 2 years is very difficult. And after prolonged policy advocacy, the timeline has been extended to 30 months or 36 months. Whatever the challenges we are facing mainly in the initial period during the construction period. So many a times there are delay in the commissioning of a project, and these delay are mainly because of the ROW and land acquisition. Simultaneously, there is also delay in case of licensing. We are also facing delay in case of forest clearances. So in most of the projects, you can see not only for Power Grid, for every transmission developer in the private sector, there are delay around 6 or 7 months, most of the project. Whatever the timeline that is given to the transmission developer, there is delay. More so, I will like to highlight this case, especially in this August gathering, especially in the state of Gujarat. We have faced a lot of challenges. Although government is doing a lot to improve that or to resolve the ROW issue, but whatever the challenges we are facing, it will be certainly affect the return of the developer like Power Grid or any private players. So we are already doing policy advocacy. We are writing time and again to CEA, CERC that the licensing should be given for the 35 years, not for the 25 years. Why we should go again after 25 years and request that we should be given the licensing for 35 years. We are requesting them time and again. We are requesting them time and again by giving solid reasoning that since the asset is constructed for 35 years, so licensing should be given for 35 years, because we are facing the uncertainty whether after 25 years we will be given license or not. So 12-year uncertainty is always there. And if there is uncertainty of this 12 year, then certainly we will build some risk and we will code the transmission charges accordingly. So the end consumer will be affected negatively. So my view in this that the transmission license period should be of 35 years, not for 25 years, because it is a boot model. After 35 years, for all the transmission, ISTS transmission project has to be handed over to CTU on as is, where is basis. So whenever we are building the lines, there is always possibility of uncertainty for 12 years. For any developer, on any uncertainty account, they will certainly book the risk and will incorporate the risk in terms of money in their quoted transmission charges. So this is my viewpoint on this aspect. And I feel that there should be changes in the licensing policy. Many a times, even though CRC has been given the power to give the license, but they are also questioning why this project should be given. Why should this project should be given under the ISTS regime? Although CRC has to decide the tariff and dispose the petitions, the planning aspect is with the CTU and CEA. So there is again uncertainty in this regard also, because there are two projects for which we are waiting the transmission licenses for last 2 or 3 years, and it is pending with the CERC. So everybody which is having what is their role, they should stick to their role only, and they should play to their role only. My advice, especially for the GetCo people, is that you must go for this TBCB regime because it is cost effective and a timely manner. You can build the transmission line on a faster pace. But you must also take into account all the hindrances, all the risk which is happening in the field, that is land acquisition, ROW, forest clearance, etc. in advance. I have requested in this regard that the land acquisition, or Power Grid has requested that land acquisition should be in the scope of BPC only, because at present what is the radius is specified for the three type of ISTS project, that is 3 kilometer for generation, 5 kilometer and 10 kilometer. So to get the land in this radius, it is very difficult. And land is a very critical issue. It is very close to the heart of the farmers because they are parting away their land, and this uncertainty will always affect the project execution. Another is the crop compensation. This too is the very, very critical aspect for execution of the transmission project in a timely manner. Although we are trying to mitigate all these things, because there is a provision in the TSA that we can claim the delay on account of force majeure or on account of changing law. But that will not help much. Ultimately, there will be a delay. And this delay has to be built in the cost only. This is my perspective for the TBCB regime and the balanced 12-year, for which we are uncertain about the continuation of the license. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manoj ji. You have brought forward, I think, 3 points. We'll come back to you on those issues. Number one, as I see, you said there is challenges in ROW and particularly in Gujarat. That is one point. We'll deliberate how to tackle it and what can be done. That is number one issue. Then you said that at the end of the life, the asset is going to be transferred to CTU in a boot model. That is one point. Third point is basically the substation land. Whether BPC should acquire the land and hand over the same at the time of SPV transfer. So these are two points that you have put forward. And then the fourth one is along with the ROW, the crop compensation issue. So these are the relevant issues which have been put forward by you. So the first thing, I also understand that for a new transmission line to be built or planned for execution properly, the location of the substation is very, very important. Okay. Not only the location of the substation, it's basically in an existing substation, the allocation of the bay. That itself is very, very important. Because I still recall there was one of the project which was put out in bid, and we won that project. I started executing it. And initially, there was a loop in, loop out at a particular substation. The initial estimate, as per the BPC as well as by us, was about 16 kilometers. But because of the allocation of the bay itself, from one side, when we went for implementation, it was shifted to the other side. So 16 kilometer became 21 kilometers. So there's a massive change. So that's how substation is very, very critical. So I would like to put forward a question to Mr. Ratnesh, because he is the BPC. Now, if actually the people who are executing, they want to throw that ball onto your court, how comfortable you are that in acquiring the substation land? Because today in the road sector, the model is very, very smooth because the NHI acquires the right of way and gives it over for the executors to implement. So here, what is the challenge if you take that responsibility of land acquisition? Please, can you throw some light on it?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ratnesh, representing RECPDCL, one of the bid process coordinator on behalf of Government of India, Ministry of Power. And we are doing the coordination works for few of the state utilities also. Sir, before I answer the specific questions, I would like to share my views on the TBCB process. Given the changing sectoral context, I mean, the theme of today's discussions could not have been more relevant and timely. When we are talking about, sir, renewable energy rich power system, we are actually talking about redefining and reimagining the way we plan, build, and then operate the transmission network. I mean, today the question is not whether transmission is required or not. It is about how better we build it. I mean, this is where the role of all of us comes together, be it policy planners, developers, regulators, the utilities, and the bid process coordinator. Our perspective may be limited to some extent because we look at the TBCB framework through the lens of a bid process coordinator. We are not developers, we are not regulators, we are not planners. But I think that is also one of our strengths. Because as mentioned by Manoj sir from Power Grid, I mean, we get to interact with every stakeholder during the process. We hear different views, different perspectives, and different concerns. Over the year, I think we have been able to, develop a fairly balanced approach in conducting the bid process. But yes, I mean, coming to the question which Manoj sir has asked about the land acquisition. Sir, land acquisition is a gradual and continuous process, right? If BPC is required to assume this responsibility, I think we will have to redesign the BPC framework, I mean TBCB framework. See, TBCB is meant for, I mean, completion of the entire activities in a time-bound manner. I mean, 90 days to 150 days maximum. That is what we take in delivering a project, handing over of, I mean, from creation of SPV to handing over of the SPV. I mean, for these very reasons only, the land acquisition and the geological surprises, you must be knowing that hydropower development has not still been brought under the ambit of tariff-based competitive bidding. So that is a gray area, I understand, sir. I mean, a lot of thinking and a lot of deliberation has to happen before, I mean, this responsibility is assigned to BPC. We are open to discussion on that. The second part was with regard to crop compensation. While conducting the survey prior to, I mean, floating the RFP, BPCs do undertake one walkover survey. We are carrying out the survey. We have started carrying out the survey through LIDAR and drone-based technologies also. But when the prospective developers bid for the project, the main concern and the challenge that we feel is with regard to the ROW compensation that they may factor in their bid. Sometimes the cost that they are bidding is higher also, I mean, compared to the estimate prepared by BPC or the cost committee. We have seen that few of the states have yet not adopted the MOP guidelines, for compensation, for COP compensation or ROW compensation, wherein the corridor compensation cannot be factored in by us. Because while we undertake the cost estimate, we go by the guidelines of the respective states. So these are few of the challenges with respect to, I mean, crop compensation, land acquisition, which are very valid and very genuine. I think that needs more deliberation, sir. before, something conclusive can be derived at. So with this, for the timing, I can hand over the mic to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ratnes. This is a food for thought. I think this needs to be deliberated because for a kind of transmission system, if there is an uncertainty in terms of where to terminate, many times that happens in many of the projects because when you do a walkover survey at the preliminary stage, you really don't get the right kind of input, whether that land is available or not, and what is the price. So this is a gamble rather than a kind of competitive bidding. Because I always see that right of way in transmission is a gamble. It's not, it cannot be objectively assessed today. So more and more we bring in certainty in this particular aspect, it is better. Because what is happening today, in my experience of last 25 years, is it's basically the tail is wagging the dog, basically, in a way. The ROW compensation, crop compensation, all this put together, that used to be about 5% of the total project cost. Whereas it can destabilize the whole project. And like Manoj said rightly, because these are linear projects, if one location is stuck, my JETCO friends will also agree, then the whole investment is stranded. And every day there will be mounting interest during construction. So what is happening, it's even though this is a small percentage of the project cost, earlier it used to be 5%, it has gone up to, I think, 10% or so. I think that can be ratified by our friends from Sterlite or Adani today. But that is bringing in the most kind of uncertainty for the developers as well as the lenders, the investors as well as the lenders. Because today, if you go to any lender, though what Mr. Neeraj said, that it's an annuity return, assured return, and in transmission, interestingly, it is not dependent on traffic. It is insulated from the power flow. The the revenue is assured from a central pool, but still we don't have such kind of lenders response in the private sector. Today, primarily, I find the transmission projects are funded by REC or PFC in the domestic market, at least for the construction period. Today, you go to any lender, I don't know whether we have some people from the lenders community here or not. In going forward, the JETCO should have a serious kind of interaction with the lending community. That is very, very important. Because today, if you go to the market with a TBCB project, there are not many takers to fund you at the time of construction. They say that after completion of the project, you come to me. So I am very well interested in funding it. But for those 2 years, 3 years, they are not very, very interested. So that's a real major challenge. So what is bringing in the challenge, as rightly put forward by Manoj ji? It is the right of way, the crop compensation, the substation land. So this topic, I think I'll throw it open to our Sterlite friends to throw some light on it. So when we are talking about the TBCB ecosystem today, and we are trying to bring in a lot of investment quickly and delivering the projects in a quick time, and what kind of changes or what kind of supports you will be requiring, or as per your experience what is required, so that these uncertainties can be minimized.
First, first and foremost, would like to introduce again, as already I introduced this myself, Animesh Jaiswal, as AVP in the Rizonia. Thank you so much, MD sir, and all the esteemed officers of the GetCo for providing such a wonderful opportunity, deliberating the transmission landscape, the challenges, and the way forward. Thank you so much for senior and esteemed panelists from PGCIL and other utilities from BPCs. So the context has already been set from MD sir, and we have been deliberated and have some expertise opinion from the industry experts already. I support most challenges. In a very short, in a short note, I would like to say yes, I support the PGCIL's apprehension. As closely constructed, I've constructed as a project head across all the geographies of India. Physically, I've constructed 765 kV and all 400 kV lines from north to south and from hills to west. I've constructed. Yes, the land ROW is the biggest challenge, which is 5% contribution, and it is impacting the whole overall system. So yes, there is a strong deliberation, a strong support from the government is required on that part. Yes, for the land acquisition also, BPC is right at its own, but yes, more robust arrangement has to be made from the BPC to facilitating the land, because as representing the private participation as one of the vital contributing transmission service provider, yes, it is bleeding too much to our internal ecosystem. We can say when we are there for making the transmission very resilience. So during the execution phase also, if the investor or the transmission service provider suffers so lot, how can it emphasize into the visions? So that is the need. So first of all, thank you so much for the question. Now coming to the point, yes, there are the challenges. What we as one of the vital contributing transmission provider we are facing, and we can, I think you asked for the investment point of the view.
In the system so that that can be minimized.
Yeah, rightly you asked. So what I feel the support functions to be more robust. Number one, the regulatory framework must to be strong. There should be the strong regulatory support, as like the timely payment of the transmission charges to be facilitated. Number one, that is very important. In current context, if we say the CTOIL is facilitating now, the deliberation is going on that Grid India will take over. So these are the thinking. I anticipate that faster thing will come, and it is very important. It comes to this payment security mechanism. Number two, VGF can be emphasized. We feel viability gap funding to reduce the equity and the capital allocation. I think that
Animesh, sorry to interrupt you. The pointed question is, we are discussing about the ROW aspect. So with respect to ROW, because that is bringing in the major uncertainty, what kind of ecosystem that should be developed in the TBCB framework so that you are comfortable and the lenders are comfortable?
Sir, ROW point of view, sir, if you ask, then yes, the strong support from the administration is very much required. And there must be the standardization in the ROW clearances, the timely clearances. There should be the proper guideline on that. And there should be the consideration on the timelines also, what we are facing. So I think faster clearances in the approvals, statutory clearances, and timely support in the acquisition of the land from the BPCs, ministries, etc. So I think these are the 2 or 3 more important points where we emphasize, yes, that can be deliberated and to be support for the further extensions.
Sir, I would like to add on to this. As per our experience as a BPC, the land for substations, wherever the state has supported it in providing the land, whether from its own pool or acquiring it and providing it to the transmission service provider, the experiment has been quite successful. The land acquisition has been not as smooth, but it has happened actually. So the state support in acquiring substation land at least has been a very successful model. That's how our recent experience till now. And I would request that if that model can be strengthened in some manner by a little more policy advocacy by state utilities with the central regulator and the potential transmission service providers also, and we would also be supporting the endeavor. So if we can have, as Animesh just said, that we can have a framework where some support, some regulation, some standardization. So maybe from the regulatory part also some powers to acquire. States have vast powers for land acquisition under various acts. So if some of those could be invoked in case of necessity, so some framework for that also, but state support on that aspect. So till now our experience with other states where they have been able to provide substation land, either from their own pool or acquiring it, both have been fairly successful. So this is just an experience I shared. Thank you.
Sir.
I may like to add that one of the substation land for Esterlite in Nimrana is yet to be acquired after about 2 years. So substation land is yet to be acquired. And another aspect with regard to the crop compensation and ROW compensation, the decision or discretionary power to the district magistrate is hampering the progress of the project and financing of the project. So many a times this decision is taken by the district magistrate. It is their discretionary power whom to compensate, what to compensate. So this aspect should be looked into, and there should be certain standard norms. Although norms is there, but as far as district magistrate is concerned, they are going to extra mile to facilitate the compensation or increase the compensation to the farmer or affected party. In that case, that transmission developer is suffering financially as well as on the time aspect also. So this aspect has to be looked into, and there should be clear guidelines and framework, especially for district magistrate with regard to the payment of crop compensation or corridor compensations.
May I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Well, I totally support whatever Manoj sir from PGCIL and Mr. Animesh from Resonia has stated. Sir, see, I mean, as we all know, the sector is evolving, right? I mean, sector is changing. The challenges today are quite different from what we had, 5 or 10 years ago. The conversation today is not about bringing transmission lines. We are basically building huge transmission networks, right? I mean, we are building projects for gigawatt scale renewable parks, for battery energy storage system, for offshore wind power plants. And even the demand patterns are changing, I mean, faster than ever before. So we have to evolve. I mean, the TBCB framework has to evolve. I mean, the role of BPC, as rightly said, has to be revisited. I mean, talks are going on, sir. I mean, we are in discussions with Ministry of Power with respect to the requirement of, prior land acquisition, or maybe some firm amount that can be factored in while calculating the cost estimate for ROW and the compensation. The second thing, I mean, as suggested by Mr. Animesh, I would be happy to share that, I mean, with respect to your VGF question, sir, I mean, especially for GEC 3 linked transmission project, MNRE is coming up with a milestone linked VGF plan. BPCs have already been advised to incorporate the same in the RFPs that will be floating for all such GEC 3 projects, sir. So we'll get to hear more on this, I mean, very soon, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, now from the discussion, the issues that have come up, one is the land acquisition, who should do. like Mr. Neeraj says, that the substation land, when it is a intrastate project, it is better done by the state who is bringing it in, and it has been successful. In many of the cases, I find UP, when they're bringing up projects, they give the land ourselves. So that actually brings in a lot of certainty, and quickly the project can be implemented. So that's a very, very interesting suggestion. So while ZETCO is planning for TBCB, they may keep in mind that if they keep the land and in the bid, basically they identify the land and they acquire the land, then it is much better. And if you look at the UMPP model also, which was put on TBCB, the land acquisition was was done prior to, I think, the bid was floated. So that brings in a lot of certainty into it. So why not? Substation land is now today, if I see the substation land is becoming more and more important because it is running into hundreds of acres today. Because of new technologies like synchronous condensers or STATCOMs and the future scope, like in one of the projects I was saying, the future scope is double the present scope. So the number of bays in a project for the present scope is about 125, whereas the future is 225, 250. So it's very easy to put in the scope of the present successful bidder that you not only acquire the land for the present scope, you also acquire the land for the future. So in one of these substations, in the recent bidding, in one of the substations it goes to 200 acres. So when we bid out with that kind of uncertainty that whether I am going to get a 200 acres of land at some place. So that is very, very important, and there has to be some kind of mechanism where the land is acquired before we bring the project and we actually put forward for the bidding. Now, that being there, yeah. Yeah, just, sure. Just, I'll come back to you. So there are other speakers, we have to give opportunity to them. Now, the issue is, there's a very, very interesting topic which was brought forward by Manojji, that is discretionary power of the district magistrates. So, if I share my experience, now for transmission projects, generally the right of way is governed by, or we try to get power from Telegraph Act, which in turn is coming through Section 164 of the Electricity Act. Okay? Through that, the powers of a telegraph authority is given to the transmission licensee. Now, there's an interesting case which I handled. If you read the Telegraph Act, under which the powers are given, it says that on the matter of compensation, district magistrates have no role. It clearly says that the district magistrate's role is to facilitate implementation of the project. If somebody is obstructing, then it's a cognizable offense and he should act. And the matter of compensation is the jurisdiction of district court. Right? So even in one of the cases in Gujarat, in one of the projects I was implementing in Gujarat in 2022, so I challenged it in the Gujarat High Court and I got it reversed. The Gujarat High Court gave a verdict telling that the DM has no role in compensation setting. But practically what is happening, the DMs are intervening into the compensation setting. So there is a discretionary power which they're exercising in one way or other. Because the practical issue is they have to handle law and order. Now, if brute force is applied, like what is the recourse? If a village is obstructing, people are obstructing, so how it is going to be handled ultimately? So the police has to be brought in, there has to be official action. So it's not always easy for a district magistrate to give an order that you take the police force and do it. So they find the easier way that they call both the parties and they get into some kind of an understanding telling that both parties have agreed to pay this as the compensation. So they pressurize both the parties and get into this kind of mutual understanding, whereas the DMs have no discretionary power in setting the compensation. And interestingly, I read even the Ministry of Power guidelines of ROW resolution. They have said they have given that role to DMs. I don't know how. So that is one issue which needs clarity. Who has the discretionary authority over setting the compensation? That is one issue. Second issue is the ROW by itself. The basic question that has been put forward, that has to be further deliberated, that what is the framework which can facilitate smoothing this process? I'll now pass on the ball to Sasank from Adani, so to throw some light that what kind of framework can facilitate it you.
So good afternoon to all. Thanks for giving the opportunity. MD sir, Chief Engineer sir has set the context best. I just want to reframe it from the point of view, being developed country in 2047 as a target, how we see transmission line into it. So the major challenge what we are having is, we want industrialization, we want manufacturing, we want smart cities, but what is in between, we want reliable energy out there. So for that, we need time frame projects. What we did in the past a decade, we increased the project timeline rather than reducing it. So now, as per the new thing is that if 765 is there, we have to come up in 36 months. Rather than reducing it, with the newer technology or the better way of certainty putting into it, we should be doing it faster rather than increasing the project timeline. Because the life cycle of technology and the manufacturing setup is around 12 months to 18 months. And the transmission line project timeline is 36 months. So while there are twofold issues into it, one is that we have to deal it pre and one we have to deal it post. So pre, I mean, is while planning for the transmission system. So while doing the planning, STU or the technical bodies involved into it, they have to thoroughly do the system plannings, because currently with the integration of various kind of sources and the storage system, so those certainties into the system should be done properly, because while doing the bidding, those kind of data are required for planning StatComs or the SynCons. You have to do require those kind of studies. If those been done prior to the tender stage, it will be quite easier for the early submission of the bid. Second aspect is regarding to the certainty regarding to ROW. These are the policy issue, because ROW and the land acquisition, rightly mentioned by all the panelists, is the key critical issues. So ROW challenges also on the twofold, I say. One is regarding if we bring in certainty during the bid phase, means the kind of circle rate or the things we need to consider while doing the bidding. So if we are having a certainty on the rate which we need to consider, then in that case that bid price will not get inflated because of that, and you will be bidding with lesser risk premiums. Because higher the risk premium or uncertainty either on the technical side, either on the lead times of the equipment or any of the aspect, the bidder is going to load those risk premiums and the timeline will go up. So on the ROW side, there are few action items which I want to mention, because we deliberated more on what are the issues, is like digitalization and accessibility of the records, because currently land records should be properly digitalized, and ownership and past compensation records should be on the digital platform and properly available. It should not be like we will be going to each and every tehsil, because a long distance transmission line, it's quite tough getting those rates in a limited period during bidding. Second is standardization of crop compensation mechanism. There is no standard mechanism available. So those need to be done. Regular update of jantri rates. Our jantri rates, because land is a concurrent subject, it's mainly handled at the state level. So jantri rates should be updated well, and the kind of escalation those required should be mentioned properly. Classification of urban and rural corridors. Because on the basis of that, technical calls has been taken. What kind of towers you want to put in, you want to go with a multi-circuit or a monopole, so those kind of uncertainty will also add cost into it. So you have to clearly mention that. Timely updation on Gati Shakti portal, because Gati Shakti portal is also many of the times are timed. You have to update it properly so that we will get a correct information upfront. And less land facilitation in case of severe acquisition issues. So land anyway is a problem. So in land, if a bidder start acquisition, it will require 6 months or 8 months post bidding. But if suppose the state or the STU take that pain, so they can start 6 months prior to the bidding itself. That will reduce use time. Even on the license part also, which mentioned by Manoj sir rightly, when the scheme has been planned and got all the approvals from the government authorities, then post giving the LOI and the SPV handover, again applying for license, and then again all those questions came into picture, whether that scheme is viable or not, then in that case, it's again wasting the time, because you need license for applying section 164 and all, and on the basis of that, you will be getting administrative support on the ground. Then RE and industrial corridors for transmission line can be set up, where those will be fast track corridors through which transmission systems can be planned. So these are the things, if proactively we can plan, we can bring this timeline. Because life is not easy everywhere. It's not like you will plan a transmission system and you will put 36 months, 48 months to it, and everybody is going to accept it. Somebody will be behind you from the industrial ministry saying that my requirement is coming up in 18 months. Then you will be able to give 36 months to the developer? No. Then we have to plan it proactively. So these kind of aspects, if we start working proactively, we will be able to solve the problem and bringing in the time. And that's my humble submission. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sasank, putting forward some objective suggestions, like a few of the things which are very, very interesting is standardization of the crop rates. It should be, actually in a competitive bidding, I recall very interesting note that was once given. I attended one of the programs of FICCI long ago. It was on bidding for mining. That was the context. So somebody from Rio Tinto, the lady came and said that bidding can happen only for things which you can see, which you can assess, and you know what is the risk. You can't have bid for things which are under the ground, on which you don't know what is there. So I'm just putting it forward to exaggerate the issue. The more the uncertainty, the more the risk. Like Sasank said, the more the questioning. It's going to basically make it more cost ineffective. So more and more certainty should be brought into the bid. So in fact, if I recall in 2004, when we had the first meeting with the Ministry of Power on this TBCB concept, that's why we suggested that we cannot put all the projects into TBCB model, because that's how this actually bifurcation of TBCB projects came into existence. We said that we should pick up those projects which are more implementable, more certain, which are difficult in terms of execution, in terms of terrain. Those have to be on the cost plus mode. So that's how it was bifurcated. And today also, the National Committee on Transmission, they decide which projects to go on, RTM, which should come on TBCB. So for bidding to really discover the price, what we are trying to do, we are trying to discover the price instead of creating a cost plus kind of mechanism. So to discover a price, the underlying asset should be very, very clear to the people. That is very, very important. So here, ROW, like we all know that it's a very small portion of the investment, but that is creating a lot of uncertainty. So from long time, it's a thought process which I would like to share, and the panel can deliberate. Why not think of something like this? In spite of anything you do, today there are guidelines by Ministry of Power, there are notifications from various states on ROW, there are ways and procedures which have been established, how the ROW compensation is to be handled, what should be the basis. Of course, there are some gaps which can be plugged, but in spite of that, what is happening? It's very, very unfair if you look from the perspective of the landowner, that there is an archaic law, which is a Telegraph Act, and the telegraphs no longer exist, but the power sector is capitalizing on it. I own the land, and somebody comes and forcibly puts something on my land, and he says that I'll give you compensation for the loss. So very, very unfair. We'll have a question and answer session. So because if we start intervening, then the panel discussion will be disturbed. You can note down. So we'll have last 15 minutes on Q&A. So this is very unfair. So in my opinion, any rules you bring in, any procedure you put forward, there is going to be difficulty in implementing it, there will be uncertainty. So if there is something which is uncertain in terms of money and time, why that part should be in the part of competitive bidding? Why can't we have those 10% of the cost as a cost plus model? We award the project where we say that for the ROW part, there is no competition. You come back to the regulator after implementing the project. This is the set guidelines. You should try to adhere to it. But exceptions will be dealt by the regulator, and accordingly it will be compensated. So can this be one of the hybrid model? Like in road sector, that's how from annuity model, people went into hybrid model, where part of the investment is by NHI, part of the investment is from private sector. So to bring in more investment, certainly. So can this be one of the models?
I'm having a different view over it.
Okay.
If we are going to leave this on the regulator part, then anyway another certain uncertainty will come. If suppose I'm going to spend X amount and looking towards the regulator that in the end regulator is going to compensate me, then there is the uncertainty they will give me X minus 50, X minus 40, whatever they will give. So it will add an uncertainty into it. Rather than that, if during the bid evaluation phase, if we have a set mechanism that this is the way you are going to evaluate your ROW cost, and if any deviation will come, such kind of committee or these kind of people are going to resolve that for you, and that cost will be given by the regulator as per the cost increase into the TSS standard module given. So that will help. And one point on the land part, since I'm continuing, on the substation aspect, earlier it was like GIS and AIS. We say that ki GIS for the areas where urban areas we are having land constraints. But now currently across the country we are facing land constraints and we require huge amount of land. Why should not we switch to GIS only? AIS should be a rare of the thing where we are having certainty that huge amount of land is available. Along with that, technical innovation like multi-layer substations, where 220, 400, and 765 can be set into a single building. So those kind of innovations will also help in reducing the footprint which we want. So just a thought come to me, I thought putting that point.
Yeah. On the ROW, as my friend Shashankji was mentioning, it can be thought of. One thing which comes to our mind, I don't know how much the potential transmission service providers would be comfortable with it, is that while they are putting in their bids with the bid process coordinator, if they can mention the components on the ROW, the cost they are estimating at the bid stage, and give it in an encrypted mode with the password with them, retaining the passwords with them, and subsequent to the COD, if there is a change, that change of the actual compensation that they had to pay, if they bring it forward. So we are open to considering such a scenario and doing a policy advocacy on this front. So this can be a successful model, which I think, it's a personal thought at the moment, but I'm putting it forth here in this forum where we have such renowned experts. We have the state utility, the MD sir is also there, so they also can give it a thought that if this can be considered, but it will depend on how much comfortable the developers are to share that in an encrypted mode, and in case they require a revisit in future, we can surely do it. But we should know that when they were bidding, what was the cost that they considered.
Yeah. All as Manoj sir has shared that yes, we all the transmission service providers are equally suffer with the ROW. It is a big point in today's debate. I think they are suffering. We are suffering in the north part of the India. Power grid is suffering in the west part of the India. But we are equally suffering. The pain is same. What I suppose in the ROW there is a huge uncertainty. We cannot predict what kind of the ROW and how it will behave during the course of execution. So right, we should, rather than discussing and deliberating so long with utilities and whatever, I think the industry should come forward on a common platform and likely to discuss with a proactive approach, right? So the proactive approach, what we are doing in the ROW, we are doing the corrective action, right? I think proactive action is the need of R. Yes, the technology adoption is can be the major game changer here, right? So we have to, despite the administrative support, which is a very vital thing, nobody can deny with that. But yes, technology adoption is a need of R, right? As a Rosonia, we are working hugely on that. So in coming time, you will see, in the geospatial, we were the first to come into the geospatial techniques. So right way we are working, and in coming time, you will see our initiatives in the this technology adoption. We are working on that. Optimization of the designs we are doing, yes, to reduce the ROW. We strongly advocate on the adoption of the high technology, high performing conductors also. Right, for the corridor perspective, industry is also deliberating with the monopoles, insulated class arms also. We deliberate, yes, GIS and this GIS management and the land acquisition, what Adani has suggested, I truly support them. because as a proactive approach, if we go to the GIS management with the landowners, ASRA, but all with this district administration, if proactively, if suppose I emphasize that if GETCO is coming with the project, nobody can the expert with the land management other than the GETCO or any state utility, because they are the owners of the land. So proactively they should emphasize and they should incorporate the ROW issues and their mitigation plans with the bidding documents when they were coordinating with the BPCs. So like technology adoptions, GIS management, utilization of the Gati Shakti, collaborative approach, I think it will help, and adoption of the digital management. That can be the troubleshooter in the right-of-way access, and certainly I would trust that will overcome in coming time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, this is a very interesting topic which was brought forward. We'll come back to the ROW issue because any discussion you do on transmission, the ROW comes back. It haunts you always. So we'll come back to that. Before that, now this is an interesting topic which has been introduced. It's a technology. So how technology is going to help us in transmission? That is a topic today which is probably bothering all of us. So I'll come to Mr. Sikka on this question, that how technology can be used to overcome ROW, or how technology is going to facilitate ROW minimization. Can you please put forward your views?
I mean, all of us are habitual of doing the construction work in a traditional manner. I mean, everything is on the ground. I mean, we have to really take off clearly. Technology, I mean, one factor is if you talk about substations, a lot of technological changes have happened. You have, I mean, we have been having AIS switchyards, now GIS, and now the hybrid of that. So that is something which needs to be deliberated. Of course, that is not in our hand, because this is something being decided by at CTU level. So that is one. Even execution, when we are executing the transmission lines, when we are going through the land of the formats, etc., every time you enter that land, ROW comes up. First of all, the hindrance to enter the land itself, and then your the compensation. Both are there. So technology-wise, today, drone is really taking off. I don't know whether JETCO, this has been implemented or not. That is something which is definitely taking its a corrective feature there, because in terms of cost as well as the implementation, both are, it is becoming faster. Second is even using, I mean, prefabricated type of towers, using helicopter techniques. This has heli cranes. That also is another faster approach towards this. It has been implemented, but I think a lot has to be done in that direction. Initially, it looks like a lot of cost, but if you see how it is going to be implemented, I mean, the time duration, it fits into everybody's pocket there. Third is on the O&M aspects. Operation and maintenance is a big cost. Today, we don't realize this. But once you are putting into your financial model, then you realize 1 lakh here or there, or 1 crore here and there, how much it can impact. Because you're talking about 35 years. You're not calculating for few years for operation and maintenance. So there also, you need to have technological advancements. A lot of work is being done by our peers here. I mean, PowerGrid can throw some more light on that, because that's something which is direction. And but before I end, before I put it onto that, the most important is, I mean, all of that, we are talking about technical, ROW and all that. What about manpower? I mean, adaptability of the people for the technology also, and approach towards how to implement it faster. I mean, we all know the technical work. We know the design, we know the construction work. But then attitude. We are all talking about 24 months, 36 month schedules now. And our Sterlite friend said delay of 5 to 7 months. Can we believe? I mean, all of you are carrying out construction of transmission and substations. What is the total time period which you are taking from inception, from zero to completion of the project? Is it documented? We say it is to be completed in 12 months or 24 months, but 12 months, 24, where it will go if you are not taking a decision at the right time. And in TBCB, I mean, the worst is you get to know to bid for a project today. You have a 45 days timeline after we receive the no, I'm talking about tender, where you get a survey report. You have a maximum 45 days as the timeline. So 45 days, you need to carry out the entire survey. I mean, if it's a shorter line, it's fine. You need to choose your technology. You need to decide on your all cost, material, manpower, and implementation. And look at the O&M aspect for 35 years. And all of you must be surprised here. How is that possible? How to get it done? Because we are not tuned for that. So upgradation in terms of, first of all, technical knowledge one can share. But then one has to stand up to this thought process itself. This has to be done today. It cannot be done tomorrow. I mean, you cannot postpone by 2 days, 5 days. For logical reasons, it's fine. But then if it delays by 1 month, your entire costing will go haywire. Is that correct, sir? So this is something which we need to. So from JETCO, who is actually looking at TBCB as a market to enter. So entire behavioral change is a must requirement. Okay.
So on the technology aspect, I may add something with regard to all the three critical activities used for construction of a transmission line, that is foundation, erection, and stringing. So from very beginning, Power Grid is pioneer in adopting the new technology. For construction of tower foundation, we are in a process to adopt the precast foundation, which will be very quick, and the quality of foundation will be also very good. As far as the erection is concerned, to squeeze the timeline for erection, we are going to adopt the center crane. So for the normal manual erection, it is about 5 to 6 ton erection per day. When we are going to use the center crane, which my EPC developer is using, or we are enforcing them to use, like KPTL or TLL or Skipper. So by using the center crane, they can get the erection about 10 to 12 ton per metric ton per day. It means the erection time will be half by using the center crane. When it comes to the stringing, again we are going to use, or we are using the drone stringing. So we are mandatorily incorporated in our bidding document that the party has to use the drone for stringing, especially in the forest area or in other such area where our project manager feels that there is a challenge for stringing manually. Another aspect which I would like to point out on this August gathering, that we are always talking about that the TBCB is about the cost or something like that. We are not talking about the life cycle management cost. We are upfront awarding the contract to the party who is coming L1 after ERA. So they will be quoting a single figure annual tariff, and based on that, we are awarding the project to them. We are not talking about the life cycle cost. So life cycle cost should be also incorporated in some way for deciding to whom we are going to award the project. Another aspect is the reliability and resilience. Since we are going to enter in a very uncertain future, there will be cyclone, there will be climatic changes, there will be heat waves and all sorts of things. So transmission system should be resilient enough to sustain all those things. even one day outage will be huge in coming days. So we have to think about the resilience and reliability in addition to the life cycle cost of the project or transmission project. We have to devise a methodology in which these two aspects should also be incorporated while deciding to whom we are going to give the project for construction or execution. Since we are in an era of hurry because India is in a very hurry to become a developed nation by 2047. At present, our per capita power consumption is around 1550 unit for India. However, the world average is about 3000 unit. So we have to catch or we have to double the consumption. Every population is also becoming aspirational. Everybody wants to have all types of amenities, and without power, it can't be possible. When we are talking about the developed country, like USA, it has the per capita energy consumption, electric energy consumption of about 12,000. So you can think where we are at present. So we have to act very fast, and we have to become the resilience as far as our transmission network is concerned. Because now everybody wants that 24/7 electricity should be there. There should not be any outage. So what sir was telling that we have to provide the power, not only power, the power quality is also very important. We have to restrict the frequency and voltage in a very tight band. CRC has earlier given the mandate that the frequency should be in a range of 49.5 to 50.5. Now they have squeezed that range. Now it is 49.09 to 50.2 is the frequency has. So we have to also look into the quality of the power which we are providing to the customers. As we are coming in age of data storage, and data storage facilities will be having huge power capacity requirement. And any latency in providing the power or as such outage of the power will affect to the great extent to their financial viability. So we have to look into the quality aspect of the power also. Another aspect, since we are a country where the power is or power generation sources is concentrated to a particular region. Suppose in the north it is Rajasthan, in the west it is Gujarat, where the solar and wind potential is very high. So in coming year, we will be definitely requiring more and more transmission line. And when we will be going to construct more and more transmission line, again we have to come or we have to confront the ROW as such issue. So we have to look into this aspect very critically, especially Gujarat. We have faced a lot of problem in Morbi district. For resolving the ROW issue, we have to do a lot hard work. So it is for the lesson that GATCO people can learn from us based on our experience, what we have faced. So these two aspects, the land and ROW, you have to look into very carefully.
Thank you, Manoj. Now, we have more or less got some views from the bid process coordinator and the transmission service providers and from Mr. Sikka as well. Now, I'll turn my focus to the academia, basically Pooja ma'am from IIM Udaipur. So would like to understand, now it's a concession. Transmission, TBCB is a concession. So somebody is giving a concession to somebody. So both parties have certain obligations. No doubt there is a transmission service agreement which is signed. And there is some obligation of the party who is giving out that. And the transmission service provider has a lot of these things. But if you read the transmission service agreement, it is very lopsided. If you look at the obligations from the CTU today, it says, I'll help you at a distance. I have given you the hot potato. Why I'm calling it hot potato is because of that. That I have handed it over to you. Now it is your baby. Okay? So in this environment, how can the TBCB framework be strengthened so that we get long-term investment while equitably distributing the risk on both the parties? Can you please throw some light from the classical contractual framework?
Following our discussions and this deliberation, one thing is very clear that and it's very important that today whatever the knowledge and experience we have shared on this platform should be documented somewhere. It should be shared widely with the audience. And for this IIM Udaipur has been taking a lot of initiative. We are coming up with a lot of training programs and building the capacity in the power and energy sector. We are trying to, collaborated with we are doing the collaboration, with the industry to design a training program, on the TBCB framework for the renewable energy and, for the rich power system. And for this, we have recently collaborated with the Apico company, and I'm sure with their knowledge and with their experience. So it's very important that, the academia and the, not only the academia, but the, industry knowledge, should come together and share that perspective. Thanks.
The second question that comes to mind is now coming specific to ZETCO or the Gujarat, it's sitting on a renewable hub, particularly. So in this scenario, when they are renewable rich, now what is the management intervention specifically for them, which can be prescribed to bring in the three fulcrums that we're talking about, that is the cost efficiency, reliability, and investment. To facilitate this, what kind of management practices they should adopt? Can you please
Yeah,
elaborate?
sure. This is very important that, most of the time, whatever the knowledge being shared on these kind of platforms, or the, companies are facing so many, challenges, they have so success stories, we hardly have any, case studies. We are not, putting our energy on those case studies and, knowledge sharing, documents. So it's very important for us, whenever we are doing these kind of platforms, these documents should be, these knowledge should be documented somewhere.
In my view, there are several developers in the industry, and what are the best practices they have adopted? Each and every developer, they should jointly come together and prepare a document of the best practices they have adopted, which can be beneficial for the entire sector. It will be helpful for the country as a whole also.
It should be a knowledge resource.
So although what you are telling, Power is already doing this, not only for the management aspect. We have been conducting the knowledge sharing session every Saturday from 3 to 5 for last 2 or 3 years. For the power sector, we are covering different topics, different speakers, eminent speakers, and experienced person from different fields, from transmission sector or from STATCOM, from GridCon, or any things which is new to the industry or which is being adopted for the first time in the power grid. We are doing the knowledge sharing session every Saturday, 3 to 5. for last 3 years, more than 3 years. So recently we have also launched another knowledge sharing session, TBCB series. So which we are conducting on every Saturday from 11 to 12. It is specific to the TBCB project execution, challenges, and way forward. So this is also being conducted for the last 15 days.
But it's
It is
very
new.
important that, you know, the academia industry should come together.
Yeah.
You know, it should not be a standalone kind of, you know, thing. What's been happening, you know, from last many years, these are the standalone, you know, they should come together, blend both, and then that's a, you know, that will be the perspective.
So as far as the power grid is concerned, anybody and everybody can participate in that session.
And
It is free for all.
We are your knowledge partner for this, you know, from last 5 years.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if
Thank
I
you,
may
thank you, ma'am.
just add on to it, you see on the capacity building part, Manoj ji has just explained. Initially, like Mr. Sikka was emphasizing, that technology, equipment, everything is fine, but manpower, that's the biggest challenge. So we had faced this few years back, not few years, a decade back, more than a decade back, in the power distribution sector. So PFC as a nodal agency for the distribution reform scheme, RAPDRP, and we were also having a USAID scheme, DRUM, Distribution Reforms, Upgrades and Management, in which Gujarat also had partnered. Out of the 4 DISCOMs, Gujarat also was one of them. So we had got a course designed for the unemployed youth, certificate course in power distribution. And it was free of cost for them with a very marginal cost of 750 rupees only. Rest was being borne by us through various funding mechanisms, the overseas grant as well as some other mechanisms. We roped in IGNU to design the course and NPTI, the National Power Training Institute. And under that scheme, we trained a lot of unemployed youth across the country who became employable, and not only employable, DISCOMs, Maharashtra, MSEDCL CMD put in a condition in his advertisement for the junior engineers lineman recruitment that you need to necessarily have a certificate course in the power distribution from IGNU to be eligible to join. Gujarat DISCOMs also recruited a lot of those young employable gentlemen, and transmission at the moment, what we are discussing, it's there in an informal manner. Manoj ji has just explained it's happening. It's happening at many places. We also do it. So here in this forum, I would like to request both GETCO MD sir and IM Udaipur professor also.
May I add something?
Sure.
Since the transmission line construction is a very, very labor-intensive job. Yeah. And we have to depend upon the gangs from the Malda, especially from the West Bengal. And every developer is vying for these gangs, whether it is PowerGrid or Rezonia or Adani, everybody is taking gangs from them only. So we have very limited gang, 800 or 900 erection and a stringing gang are there. So we have to take from them only. Since the transmission sector is booming, everybody would like to have the assured gang from them. When it comes to the completion of a project, we are only emphasizing to the contractor, put more gang, but they cannot bring more gang. So to resolve this issue, Power has taken an initiative. It has started the Manpower Development Center. It has established 3 or 4 centers for training the gangs. One is in Jaipur, one is in Bihar, Banka, another is in the Malda. So we have taken the initiative for developing or training the gang for the transmission line construction also. So many EPC players like KC, L&T, everybody is taking the people trained from there. So local people are joining those at those centers. Unemployed youth are joining those centers at Jaipur or Banka or Malda. And we are trying to resolve the manpower shortage issue as well.
So in a brief, I'll say that it's very important, for every successful project, the entrepreneurial mindset is very important. I'm going to say, like, your behavioral aspect is very, very important. You can't be a successful if your behavior towards is not, you need to be into that.
Sir, I would like to put across one point, especially to GetCo. I mean, sir, because you will be entering into TBCB, framework and field, and most of your projects are like RE incentive projects. I mean, evacuation of power, renewable energy power to different states. Whereas, like technological intervention to reduce ROW is a welcome step, but technology in itself is posing, great challenges. We have been facing that as BPC. If your projects are going to involve SynCon, HVDC, and all those things, we have limited OEMs, right? So my suggestion would be to, engage with OEMs, engage proactively, because with limited time frame of TBCB framework, unlimited queries of the developers, and the multiple projects in hand, it may not be possible for a few available OEMs to cater to the requirement. So, engagement with OEM is a prerequisite, and GetCo should be doing that proactively, sir.
Yeah, very, very interesting point. I was about to bring it in. Thank you, Ratnesh. You introduced the topic. We are talking about ROW, we are talking about manpower. The major partners are the EPC contractors, which Mr. Manoj brought in, and now the supply chain. Here, if we look at the magnitude of the issue, we have a target of capacity addition of 500 gigawatt renewables by 2030. We have achieved so far about 230 gigawatt. So about 270 gigawatt in next 4 years. So 270 gigawatt, and if we take a thumb rule for the grid stability, we need a load factor about 0.5. So it puts forward something like in excess of 600,000 MBAs of transformation capacity in the country. So how many transformers we require? Do we have today? Interestingly, I had a discussion with GE a month or two back. They were saying that their factory is booked till 2029. No more orders. So in this scenario, how to tackle this issue? How to build capacity? And transmission, every 5 years, we say we need another 2.5 lakh crore of investment. At least in my career, I'm seeing that every 5 years we see another 5 years, 2.5 lakh crore. So it's actually incessant growth, or it is a permanent growth. So building capacity for manufacturing. Similarly, this is from the transformation capacity side. Then other side is now the tower steel. If you look at a 765 kV double circuit line, it will be about 120 or 200 metric tons per kilometer. That is the kind of steel which is required. And we have to build about 200 to 250,000 kilometers in next 4 years. So those kind of steel is required in this country. So there has to be backward integration of the supply chain. If we are looking at this kind of massive capacity addition, then we have to have supply chains. So there has to be a constructive deliberation among not only the investors, the developers, it's the bid process coordinator, it is the government, the lenders, and the supply chain people, and the EPC contractors. Like Manojji said, you do any transmission review, it is about those gangs. Everything is discussed about the gangs. The person who is on the other side of the review table, he is also talking about gangs, how the gangs are really behaving like gangs. Okay. And the person on this side, he says, why don't you get more gangs? So it's a gangster's game. Transmission is basically there are gang leaders. And if somebody, I don't know how much the academia has exposure of a transmission project review, we should invite them to have a glimpse of the transmission project review. These are very, very interesting reviews. We discuss about the crop, we discuss about the gangs.
Madam, you maybe, I would like to just inform you, the EPC players are going to the Khagaria or Malda with their bus only, and all the 3 or 4 EPC players are just looking into who is going there, who will reach there first, and who will get them on board to their bus to bring to the site. This is the situation as far as the gang is concerned.
Only bus, sir, we are flying them to Ladakh also, right?
So leaving aside the funnier part of it, like there is a Hindi saying ki bhagti bhoot ki langoti sahi. In that manner, transmission project cannot sustain. So like Mr. Manoj said that they have started the development center for skilling the manpower. I find because first 7 years of my professional career I spent in manufacturing sector, that to high-tech manufacturing for defense equipments. Then I worked in the watch industry for some time, high precision manufacturing. So when I came into transmission, I found that it is so chaotic, it is so unorganized. You go to a transmission site, you feel that ये तो सड़क छाप काम है. Okay, हम लोग यहाँ AC room में बैठ के discussion कर रहे हैं. We are discussing about it, but if you go to the transmission site, no graduate from an IIT would like to get into transmission project. No graduate from IIM is going to be a site manager. That being there, the people who are working, I feel miserable for them. The working condition on which they are working, the risk they take on their lives without a comprehensive training. There are no ITI programs for a erection operator. You can't call them workers. In manufacturing workshop, you cannot call them worker. You have to call them operator. So here also, if you look at the erection operators or the stringing operators or the people who are doing the foundation work, they are doing it by the ancestral knowledge. The system has never bothered about developing them. The system has never bothered about their way of life. So now it's time, high time. I think ZEDCO can put forward this point that in addition to Malda and Jharkhand, all these areas, I think Godhra is a hotbed of erection gangs, I think, of late. Rajasthan also is giving forward some gangs. So at least the Godhra area can be tapped and people can be put into an organized kind of skilling into ITIs, where the academic interface is very, very important, so that they can do a better job on this. So on this, I think the viewpoint of the TSPs like Adani can be taken. What is their view on this?
So we are already running an institute for it in our Godda region. So we are targeting around 4,000 to 5,000 people. Initially we are started at 1,000 people. So already 2 batches are about to complete, and we are offering those batches are not like we are restricting them to Adani, we are offering them to the industry. It's not limited. So we are having test beds developed there so that they get hands-on training out there. It's not just the lecture part. So that we are already doing, it's very much necessary. So those problem solving in the execution part need to be done, proactive approach need to be done. However, commitments from the government side will also help, means how you can facilitate them, saying that in future automation will not replace them or mechanization will not replace them, they will get livelihoods for the long, how they can be upgraded from ITI or technicians to the next level diplomas or something. So that kind of continuation we have to look in, because everyone is having an aspiration level. Even at my level, I am having certain aspiration, you are having an aspiration, so everyone aspiration should be taken care. Then only we can onboard them, because onboarding them is itself is a problem. So we can build institute, but we want people willing to accept that and start working in those areas. We need to give them those kind of certainties. So that's a mentorship sort of program also you have to run, that we are already doing. And as a long term, we are having a 5 years of plan it's already included in our strategic plan of Adani Energy Solutions, and we are monitoring it on monthly and quarterly basis.
Okay, thank you, Sasak. Now, I think it has been a very interesting discussion in this morning. I think we have come to almost end of the time. Now it's the question answer. I think.
Like to add for 2 minutes. I want 1 minute.
One of our panelists, Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran,
Okay.
she was unable to attend in
Oh, right,
person.
right. I
Yeah,
forgot.
but she has shared a message.
In the
so-
middle of this discussion, I think.
Apart,
Okay, I missed you out.
no,
Yes,
no issues.
sorry.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
no issues actually. Actually, actually, apart from this, there is one more important point that needs to be considered under TSA and the Transmission Service Agreement. I mean, GETCO should consider robust payment security mechanism under TSA. That is the most important thing. I mean, to give more comfort to the transmission service provider, TSA should be designed that whenever TSP is raising bill to beneficiaries, beneficiaries should be in the condition to pay that amount on timely basis. So under TSA, there should be provision of opening of LC or backed by escrow account and all. Because under ISTS projects, it's like C2L pool. From there, TSPs are getting amount. But in case of a state projects, TSPs need some sort of comfort that their amount would get be timely paid. So under Article 10 of TSA, there should be robust payment security mechanism. That is the most important thing that we need to consider.
Thank you. It's well said, and I think for any business to run, the payment security is very, very important. In the actually interstate sector, there is good payment security mechanism in terms of curtailment of power and those kind of things. But on the state sector, it is not there. So,
I mean, then all these issues can be addressed,
pool,
you know. So,
pool-based.
yeah, pool-based mechanism.
Yeah.
As it's already
I think
there in case
Maharashtra
of
also does that.
yes, in most of the states they are following that, but few states are, changing as per their requirement. But
Face
if you can
the issue
evaluate
of the payment from the UP.
yes.
Sir, one more addition from my side as a starlight to the GETCO, since we are deliberating, and I think it is a right platform to discuss. We discuss a lot on the execution part of view, and I want a shift to the strategic also. We want that apart the payment security mechanism, the mirroring of CTOIL is very important as we are doing. The faster placement of the tariffs, that is the much required to the transmission service provider. Apart, the reducing the dependencies on of the greenfield projects. That is very important, actually. If you see in the transmission, if you categorize or package the schemes in multiple packages, right? So one scheme is interdependent on other. If one scheme is not being able to commission, other get also impacted. So the packaging needs to be addressed very diligently. That is the important thing. Number three, that very important is encouragement to the strong participation. That is the experience participation, what we feel, because the transmission line projects are hugely suffering on that part. So I think three things: the payment security mechanism that we discussed. Number two, this interdependency on reducing the dependency on the greenfield projects, and number three, this strong competitiveness. So I think these three important things we deliberate and we propose to the Gujarat, since Gujarat has a huge roadmap, so it make the bidders more bullish about the territory, right?
Thank you. Now, Madam, you can run the video. Yes. Yeah. Rakesh sir, how much more time we have? Or
Wants to leave.
because it was
Actually,
still
it's
1 o'clock, I think.
yes.
Yeah. So, okay.
So Shashank sir wants to leave. So before he leaves, we would like to facilitate him with the memento. I think sir is getting late. That's why. Video करवाना है sir. Let's have the video first then. Video. Hardly few minutes.
A very good morning to my friends from Vibrant Gujarat Region Conference and my dear energy warriors of committed state of Vibrant Gujarat, who is doing a wonderful conference and panel discussion on the TBCB framework for renewable energy rich power system, balancing cost, reliability, investment in the energy transition. And who doesn't know amongst us that India has ambitious target of net zero 2070 when it declared in COP26 at Glasgow conference that India is committed for Panchamrit action plan for clean energy transition. And hence, Gujarat is one of the states which has taken it forward, and it gives pleasure that I have been invited, however, due to some personal exigencies, I'm unable to physically be present there, but very competitive bidding has to be done, has been made robust. Our government is committed to it. The state electricity regulators have a very robust role to play. Central electricity regulators have got a robust role to play because that is where the transparency profile and mode is coming through. And of course, we look at that ambitiously, that how these uh, competitive bidding can lead to lowest pricing, and there is a legal component certain frameworks within which we can collaborate, we can see that how we are going to, see through the lens of developing these capacities. And as I said, we are committed together, and when we rise together, India shines brighter and better, cleaner and greener. Thank you so much, and I really extend once again a very good wish to everybody who is there in the conference. And I really feel apologies that personally I'm not, able to travel due to certain restrictions and health issues. However, my mind and my soul is there. All the best. Stay blessed, as I said, stay brighter, and make India proud. Thank you so much.
Uh, Respected moderator, one of our panelists, Shri Shashank Sharma sir, he would like to leave little early because of some other engagements. So before you leave, sir, we would like to facilitate you with the memento. May I request Shri A.B. Rathod sir, Chief Engineer STU, to kindly facilitate Shri Shashank Sharma sir with the memento. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, shall we continue with the question answer session? Dear participants, the floor is open now for the question and answers. Yeah. Due to limited time, I request everyone to kindly give a brief introduction of themselves and make it little short.
नमस्ते, मैं अश्विन पंड्या। फॉर्मरली पावर ग्रिड में मैं 38 ईयर सर्विस किया हूँ, 2 साल एनटीपीसी, 40 साल का मेरा पावर सेक्टर का एक्सपीरियंस है, और अभी मैं बाप प्रेरणा रिन्यूएबल्स में सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हूँ। मैंने खाली गुजरात में ही सर जेट को अभी एंटर कर रहा है टीबीसीबी में, तो सबसे पहले उनको तालियों से हम लोग स्वागत करेंगे, क्योंकि हम लोग पेनालिस्ट का ये अब का रोल था कि इनको इतना नहीं डरा देना था। टीबीसीबी पैटर्न इज़ द वेरी इजियर पैटर्न, क्योंकि मैं यहाँ गुजरात में जो इतनी सारे प्रॉब्लम्स है उसके बावजूद भी 25 सबस्टेशन गुजरात एंड मध्य प्रदेश में कमिश्निंग कर चुके हैं मेरे एग्जीक्यूशन में। मैं फील्ड की बात कर रहा हूँ, ऑफिस में बैठने वाली बात नहीं है। दूसरा, 60,000 मेगावाट पावर का इविक्यूशन इंक्लूडिंग खावड़ा जो अभी प्राइम है उसका 12,000 मेगावाट का इविक्यूशन सिस्टम ट्रांसमिशन लाइन थ्रू टीबीसीबी कर चुके हैं। इसलिए मेरा अनुरोध है जेटको एमडी साहब और सभी जेटको जो ये एंटर कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि इसमें कोई डरने वाली चीज़ सर है नहीं, क्योंकि 3 जो रिस्क बताए पेनालिस्ट ने, ROW, तो ROW सर मैं जब शुरू किया था कैरियर तो 500 रुपया कंपनसेशन था। ROW कैसे रिजॉल्व होता है वो मैं बता रहा हूँ। 500 रुपये कंपनसेशन में फार्मर हमको घर में ले जाके खाना खिलाता था। इतने अच्छे रिलेशन थे फार्मर और जो ट्रांसमिशन सेक्टर में जो भी काम कर रहे थे। तो धीरे धीरे उसमें क्या हुआ कि पैसे बढ़ाते गए, क्योंकि लोगों को लगा, पहले एक्ट में भी समय समय पर सुधार हुआ, उसमें पहले लैंड कंपनसेशन नहीं था, ओनली क्रॉप कंपनसेशन था। तो ये सब को सुधारते हुए हम जैसे जैसे पैसे बढ़ाते गए वैसे वैसे रिलेशन फार्मर के साथ थोड़ा खराब होते गए, क्योंकि सरकार हमेशा खेडूत के तरफ में ही काम किया। अभी तक मैंने जो देखा, हमने देखा, सरकार ने हमेशा खेडूत के साथ रह के, फार्मर के, लैंड ओनर के साथ रह के ही जितनी पॉलिसी बनी है सब बना है। तो ROW इजी है, जैसे मिश्रा साहब बोल रहे थे कि डीएम का ये रोल नहीं है, इनका रोल नहीं है, लेकिन ये सब सर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का फुल्ली रोल है, क्योंकि जब भी हमने कोई प्रोजेक्ट अगर प्रॉब्लम में हुआ है तो ऑनरेबल पीएम साहब प्रगति शुरू किया है। तो ये सब इतने सर मतलब बेनिफिशियल है प्रोजेक्ट के लिए। तो ये जेट को ये भी काम कर सकते हैं कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ रह के प्रगति में कोई प्रोजेक्ट अटक रहा है तो टाइमली पूरा हो जाता है। तो ये ROW इज़ नॉट ए इश्यू, मतलब पीछे लगने से हो जाता है। दूसरा टेक्नोलॉजी की बात है। हाँ, तो
प्लीज मेक इट शॉर्ट।
हाँ जी जी, टेक्नोलॉजी में सर हम लोग जो वही हमको याद है कि पूरा 46 मीटर का कॉरिडोर लेके हम चल रहे हैं। तो वो सर सरकार से अनुरोध है कि ऐसा इतना कॉरिडोर ज़रूरी नहीं है, जो हमको रिक्वायरमेंट है उतना ही कॉरिडोर या क्लियरेंस की रिक्वायरमेंट होने से भी ROW में भी हेल्पफुल होगा और प्रोजेक्ट जल्दी कंप्लीशन में भी हेल्पफुल होगा। तीसरा जो बता रहे थे सर, हमारा ये आपसे REC से क्वेश्चन है कि हमने कहीं बाहर सर वो जो 3 किलोमीटर या 5 किलोमीटर का जो आप रेडियस ये करते हैं लाइन, उसमें इतने प्रॉब्लम आते हैं कि 3-4 बार आपने बदला भी है उसको, क्योंकि वो फिजिकली वहाँ वो संभव ही नहीं है कि 3 किलोमीटर रेडियस में सबस्टेशन वहाँ बने। और चौथा सर, हम लोग जेटको से ये अनुरोध है कि TBCB में आ रहे हैं तो उनको ये हमेशा बहुत सारे जो जैसे यहाँ बोला भी मिश्रा साहब ने कि टोटल जो प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट होती है किसी का भी प्रोजेक्ट हो, उसके पीनट के बराबर वो सबस्टेशन का लैंड है वो रहता है। तो वो लोग अगर 1 रुपीज़ टोकन लेके अगर लैंड देने वाले बहुत डेवलपर्स है, तो उसको हमेशा ये करना है, उसको बढ़ावा देना है ऐसी चीज़ों को, न कि उसको दूसरे नज़रिए से देखना है कि भाई ये लैंड मिल रहा है तो क्यों लेना है। तो ये सब प्रोसीजरियल डिले को अगर ख़त्म किया जाए तो मैं नहीं मानता हूँ कि TBCB में कोई ज़्यादा अवरोध हो सकता है। थैंक यू सर।
To all the participants, since we have limited time and number of participants are more, please make it to the point.
Gujarat has already done that mode. They are giving the land for substation. It's good. Sorry, Karnataka. Karnataka is giving land for substations.
Thank you so much for the insightful session. I am Alok Tindwani from Bharat Rohan. Sir, we are actually drone service provider company, and I really resonate with Mr. Shashank Sharma's and Animesh sir's views on adoption of tech. Also, Anil Sikka sir's views on need and laborious nature of O&M. Now we see that the drone technology can really ease the ROW process, also the O&M. The time is less taken. Vegetation monitoring, encroachment detection, such services, such things can be easily completed with the help of drones. I want to know from you industry experts how the adoption of this technology is being done and at what pace?
RECPDCL has floated one tender for, empanelment of LIDAR and drone-based technology, surveys, right? We had a pre-bid meeting couple of days back. The tender, is still live. So I would appreciate if your firm can also participate and, get on board.
Yes, sir. We have already filed for the tender, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
So Power EDC has already been using drones for monitoring of his transmission line. So our different regions are floating the tender for O&M activity to be done by the drones. And for the line construction, we have already giving the mandatory stinging by drone in the forest area. So you can tie up or you can approach our EPC vendor in this regard.
Thank you so much. As a Sterlite and Rosonia, we are very much aggressive on this digitizations, geospatial techniques implementing in the execution. So the drone is also implementing, but I request you please come with your complete technical offers and also emphasize the heavy duty drones also. And the drones who can help us in the hilly terrain also, because Resonia is very much, they have expert in the hilly terrains. So I welcome you. You can collect my card and you can collaborate our SCM, matlab supply chain. So then we can help you out there.
Good morning to all of you, sir. This is Vivek from JETCO. I am keen to know about that. What should be the criterion of selection of the project or scheme as an STU or utility, apart from the project cost, which is specified by the GERC 250 crores or 220 kV voltage class? Because when we select the scheme based on the tariff competitiveness, at present there is a lack of mechanism in the RTM scheme to know about the ROE of after the 35 years. So how should we know that which project we used to choose to TBCB? Means there are a lot of criterias, whether for the renewables, solars, land type, terrains, ROW. So what is the basic to choose me a project to put you before the table on that basis? And one, sorry sir, sorry to interrupt you.
You see, there is a mandate which your regulator has given, and the Chief Saab had just projected it, I think 250 crores.
No, just I cleared that apart from the project cost and the voltage class. That is already mentioned in by the regulator.
You see, in any case, during the deliberations, you must have noted that there's one thing which has come out explicitly, that TBCB mode has helped in many ways. Wherever you're going in for TBCB mode, you see, vis-a-vis the RTM mode. Costs have come down, capital has flown in, and you have been able to optimize on the O&M also. You see, state utilities having that kind of manpower for future maintenance also is not so easy, whereas you get an assured O&M for another 25 plus 10, 35 years under this mode. So you are defraying all your risks to the developer. You're shifting it at a very nominal cost, which would also otherwise had been a cost for you as a state utility. It would have been a cost. So you are just shifting the onus with more efficiency. There's a part of incentive also. When the first TBCB project came in, I think Rezonia was one of them. So they deployed these helicopters. That was when the technology crept in. They did an out-of-box thinking. A state utility thinking of putting a helicopter would have been unimaginable. But they could do it. And after doing it, they went to CEA chairman and said that, now sir, some incentive. Yes, to do it before time. I was going to touch upon that, but today we had limited time. An incentive scheme does help in a big manner. Here also in the state, if you can think of some out-of-box, have some out-of-box thinking and have some incentive also. You mean to say which projects GetCo should do it on its own?
Yes, yes, yes.
You
Actually, sorry to interrupt you, sir. The aligned question was that to shortlist the project between RTM and TBCB, as when what should be the competitive criteria? Actually, if a bidder choose the project through TBCB, the cost which we are talking about, the O&M cost, they would try to curtail it to get the bid. So we cannot to put the tariff to get. So that O&M, I think that is not relevant to that particularly.
Let Animesh address it, he wants to. On this, you see, I am unable to get a clarity of what your actual query is, because there are two ways.
Yes.
RTM, you know what the cost would come out, and then what would be the add-on to it.
Exactly, sir. Actually, I have heard in the discussion about the potato. I have potato, whether it is baked potato or it is served potato to you.
So, I mean, my suggestion would be to, GetCo should participate in one TBCB project, be it intra, and then test that potato first. I mean, then, you will be in a position to, assess whether you should be going more for RTM for intra-state projects or TBCB more. You should definitely try. Maharashtra is doing that. RBB and Rajasthan is also entering into, bidding for intrastate projects. So, Gujarat GETCO can also, think of that.
Okay, let me try to answer you, right? I think you want to distinguish between the RTM and the TBCB, right? On what criteria you have to choose that, understand? So first, whether you have to assess that how your project is a strategic fit. If your project is a strategic fit to the regulatory tariff model, or means terrain, not many factors are there. The internal rate of return, that is IRR. What you want the benefit, what you want the outcome of your project, long-term investment, because you're investing, either with the CapEx. So whether what kind of the return you are anticipating in long term. Number two, what kind of the geography you are having. Number three, what kind of the customer and stakeholders you are having. And number four, what is the structure of your financing? Whether you are government finance, whether what is the any VGF you are having, how much financially you are sound. All these four aspects you need to be in the view before going out and selecting with the modules, I think.
Correct, sir. Definitely, I got your point, but that would be a contradictory because sir said earlier we have to choose the easier project.
No, here actually आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, एक प्रोजेक्ट लेके उसका रिस्क मैपिंग करनी पड़ेगी. सो बेसिकली कंपटीशन वही होना चाहिए जहाँ पर वेल डिफाइंड प्रोजेक्ट हो, जिसमें क्लैरिटी हो, ओके, जिसमें आप बिड बना सकें. उसके लिए जो रिस्क है आपके 1, 2, 3, 4, सो रिस्क मैपिंग करके देन यू सी कि उसमें कितना रिस्क है. जितना रिस्क है उतना अनसर्टेनिटी है. तो जितना अनसर्टन प्रोजेक्ट आप बिड में डालेंगे वो उसका जो प्राइस आएगा वो कई बार आरटीएम से भी ज़्यादा आ जाएगा. ओके, तो दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू सी फ्रॉम प्रोजेक्ट टू प्रोजेक्ट. दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ कमिटी इन द सेंट्रल सेक्टर. A committee decides which projects are going to go because they decide based on pros and cons, strategic importance किसमें है, किसमें नया टेक्नोलॉजी आ रहा है, जिसमें जैसे बहुत दिन तक एचबीडीसी टेक्नोलॉजी प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट में नहीं आ रहा था क्योंकि वो मैच्योर नहीं था, सोच रहे थे.
लेकिन अब वो भी चला गया है.
वो चला गया.
सिनकॉन पहली बार आ रहा है और दैट टू इन द टीबीसीबी.
सो बेसिकली जो आपका सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया है वो आपका एक कमिटी आप फॉर्म करिए, उसके अंदर दे विल डिलिबरेट एंड डू इट. ठीक है. सो एनी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वी गेट इनटू.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, myself, BM Shah, SESTU. So, my question on BPC. आपने सर CTU के प्रोजेक्ट्स भी BPC में अवॉर्ड किया है. STU में मेरे ख्याल से मीन्स के आज की तारीख में इंडिया में REC एंड PFC BPC मीन्स के स्टेट भी BPC में REC को और PFC को कंसल्ट करते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू. तो हमारा मेन हमारा जर्नी का मेन यही है कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस मीन्स के CTU में जो प्लानिंग होता है और CTU के प्रोजेक्ट जो आप अवॉर्ड करते हो और STU में भी प्रोजेक्ट आप अवॉर्ड करते हो. जैसे सर ने बोला कि पेमेंट सिक्योरिटी मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए. इंटर मीन्स के दोनों जो आप प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हो उसके जो मीन्स के पैकेजिंग बना रहे हो उसमें एक सिंक्रोनाइजेशन होना चाहिए कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक पैकेज पहले आ जाए और एक पैकेज बाद में आ जाए. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर हाउ STU विल गो द जर्नी बिकॉज CTU एंड STU ऐसे एक्ट में तो दोनों का फंक्शन सेम ही जैसा है बट एवरी स्टेट में STU का रोल अलग सा है. सो
synergy and common features they do take care of, right? So there is no difference as such in between the.
So the point, there's another point he wants to say. It's about the continuity. I'll just give you an example. ISTS project एक हम कर रहे हैं, that is COT. So this substation at COT is under the central scheme. But वहाँ से जो downstream है वो state के अंदर है. तो वो इंट्रास्टेट जो 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं दैट इज ऑल्सो विद अस. द स्टेट अलॉटेड इट टू PFCCL. सो वी हैव पुट बोथ टुगेदर एंड COT interstate went fast. Intrastate in Jammu and Kashmir due to state clearances. Being a border state, it has sensitive issues. So state clearances came a bit late, still are underway due to some reasons. So we have synchronized both the central scheme and this, so that when the power flow happens, it happens in continuity. One asset should not get ready and so that is what is planned in a manner. So that was on the continuity part. And on the other part, between CTU and STU, you see there's no difference. Both are technically competent agencies, both do the planning, and our experience has been both CTU and STU's planning has been going very well. The coordination has been well. The committee that we form, it is under the standard bidding guidelines of the central government, has been very effective in the states we have been doing till now. We have been doing in 6 or 7 states. Gujarat also, we have just got connected with Gujarat, and I think it will happen in a nice manner here also. And with the learnings of the ISTS and other states, we try to improvise on the things here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think it has been a very interesting discussion, and most of the participants from various backgrounds, they have put forward very interesting points. So to come to the conclusion, let me take 2 minutes. Like some of the major takeaways in today's discussion, as I can understand. Number one is how to resolve right of way. That is the number one issue, where I think the panelists, they agreed on some kind of what you call declaration of the right of way cost upfront in the bid, and then opening it up at the end of the project construction, and with valid reasons, the deviations can be considered for RTM kind of board or extra compensation. That is one side. Then on the other side, the right of way assessment certainty can be enhanced through digitization of the land records, and actually standardization of the crop compensation methods. These are some of the recommendations which has come up. Then number 2 is technology, the implementation of the technology, like drone technology. Then you can have the central crane and helicopter. This kind of technology can be also absorbed. These can be made part of the bid documents while we bid out the project. That is the second takeaway on this. Then skill development is one of the major areas where the academia and the industry can come together and build the capacity there. Then very important thing is documentation of the best practices over the country on TBCB that can enhance the future implementation. These are some of the very interesting topics which were put forward. And last but not the least, the supply chain. That is also very critical, and they have to be taken together. And the lending communities, they should also come together so that they understand how the risks are getting mitigated and how they are actually the money is secured. And to achieve that, there was a very important point which was brought forward, that is the payment security mechanism. So it is suggested that in the ISTS sector, like there is a pool system of tariff disbursement, the similar thing STO can adopt. With this, I think I would like to conclude the panel's view and the recommendations. I think it has been a great morning today, and I'm thankful to all the panelists.
Thank you very much, sir. To highlight the key insights and learnings emerged from today's deliberation, to our esteemed moderator and distinguished panelists, we sincerely appreciate the valuable time and insights shared by you during this enriching session. As a token of our gratitude, we would now like to facilitate our respected moderator and panelists with the mementos. May I now request and invite Shri R.J. Nagaria Sir, Chief Engineer MGVCL, to facilitate our respected moderator, Shri Ellen Mishra Sir, with the memento. I again request Nagaria sir to kindly facilitate Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran ma'am, who is not available here, but on behalf of ma'am, I would request Ms. Pooja Shelley ma'am to accept her memento. Nagaria sir, I would again request you to kindly present memento to Shri Manoj Kumar Singh, Chief General Manager, Power Grid. Thank you, sir. I request Shri A.B. Rathore, sir, Chief Engineer STU, to kindly present memento to Neeraj Singh, Chief General Manager, PFC Consulting. Rathore, sir, I again request you to kindly present memento to Ratnesh Kumar, GM, REC. Thank you, sir. I request Shri M.J. Vasawa, sir, to kindly present memento to Shri Anil Sikka, Senior Consultant. I again request Vasawa, sir, to present memento to Shri Animesh Jaiswal, Assistant Vice President, Sterlite Technology. I again request Vasawa, sir, to kindly present memento to Shri Deepak Kumar, Deputy Manager, PFC Consulting. Thank you so much to our moderator and panelists for making this session successful. As we approach to the conclusion of this conference, I invite Shri A.B. Rathore, sir, to deliver vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, delegates and dear participant, as we come to the conclusion to the insightful conference, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Managing Director GATCO Sri Ajay Prakash sir for his valuable presence and inspiring address. My special appreciation goes to our speaker, respected moderator Sri Ellen Misra sir for beautiful guiding the panel discussion and bringing together diverse viewpoint from across the power sector. I sincerely thank our esteemed speaker and panelists for sharing their valuable experience, knowledge and perspective. I also express my sincere thanks to our knowledge partner IIM Udaipur and all the participating organizations, utilities, industrial representatives and delegates for their active participation and valuable contributions. A special word for appreciation for entire Index B team, Government of Gujarat and all supporting members who effort behind the scenes ensured the smooth and successful organization to this conference. Once again, I thank each one of you for your gracious presence and valuable time. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of our esteemed knowledge partner, IIM Udaipur, Ms. Pooja Shelley ma'am would like to facilitate our honorable dignitaries. First, I would like to request ma'am to facilitate the Honorable Managing Director JETCO, Shri Ajay Prakash sir, IAS. Ma'am, I would like to request you to facilitate Shri A.B. Rathore sir, Chief Engineer, STU, JETCO. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, I thank each one of you for your gracious presence and valuable time. Have a wonderful day. We will have a group photo with moderator and panelist.